See 'em? Well, open your damn eyes in. It's the old-timey country down-home red state update podcast and them. Coming to you from a bunker underneath Jackie's Market in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And here they are, both of them.
Jackie, I got a sponsor I think you're really going to like, but
We'll say about that. I don't know. I ain't heard it yet.
Well, it's Memorial Day, Jackie. It's
Yep.
hot as hell here in Tennessee.
It is.
People say climate change ain't real.
It's hot as hell, yeah.
Well, I wish you'd explain to me why it's so hot. Because it's, 130 degrees this Memorial Day weekend in Tennessee. It's hot out here.
Bad, yeah.
I ain't built for it. I ain't shed all what I'd call my winter plumage.
Oh.
I'm still working off some. Usually by the time it gets real hot and humid here in Tennessee, I've worked off a lot of my winter weight at the gym.
Winter weight.
So it feels a little early to me, but so I could use a way to cool off. My whole mouth is hot. Everything is hot. My tongue.
Yeah.
My head. The top of my head.
Well, it's hot outside, yeah.
The small of my back. The insides of my knees.
All right. You're hot. That's fine, yeah.
All up and down the back of my thighs.
Okay, you're hot and sweaty. I don't need to hear anymore. All right. What the hell's your sponsor?
I sure could use something good and delicious to cool me off. But it don't have to smell good. That's why I head over to Skunksicles.
What?
You know Dottie Harp? Have you ever heard it? You know Dottie Harp?
Dottie Harp.
You know that she's been working with syrups?
It got to do with smelling, though. What?
Dottie Harp has been working with syrups and sugars and natural flavorings ever since she worked out of that Jamba Juice.
Oh, yeah, she worked there for a while. Yeah, they closed that down. It didn't last long. It wasn't popular around these parts.
It wasn't like the ones you see in other places. I guess it was a franchise, and the owners didn't really care. They're like, hey, you kids just do what you want in here.
Yeah.
Which is mostly just get high. It was really more of a place for kids to hang out.
That's all kids do anymore, that.
But Dottie Harp took what she learned from all the juice places and the candle shops she worked with scents and flavorings, and she has come up with the most delicious tasting popsicle that I ever put in my mouth.
Popsicle, I like it. And a hot, yeah.
Jackie, and you ain't never tasted nothing like this either.
Huh.
It's got a taste. It's hard to describe. It's fruity. It's refreshing. I guess number one, it's refreshing.
I like it. Yeah.
And other than that, I don't even know in what direction to go in my description. It's you gotta put it in your mouth and taste it. It's so delicious, Jackie. It's almost like grape. Well, that's their slogan. Skunksicles, almost like grape.
What sickles?
Skunksicles. Oh, well, the other thing is it smells like ass. It smells.
Right. What the hell are you talking about? It smells
shitty,
like
as
what?
In literal shit. It smells like a skunk. It smelled like a skunk come in and lifted its tail, and whatever the juice comes out of, its butthole or its junk area.
All right.
Or does it have a special hole?
Just shut your mouth. Why would I want to put anything that smell like that in my mouth?
Because it tastes so good. She could not figure out, and Dottie Harp has become a master at scents and fragrances and tastes and textures and syrups. And the texture of this popsicle, too, also ain't cold and icy. It's creamy and inviting, and yet it's just a popsicle.
If she's so good at all this stuff and making it taste so good, why the hell's it got to smell like that?
She don't know. She's done everything in her power.
She don't know.
She can't. If she makes it smell better, it don't taste as good. It don't taste as almost like grape. It don't taste as refreshing. If the smell gets any better, the taste gets worse.
Well, ain't nobody going to put it in their mouth if it smells like that.
Have you been to Skunksicles?
No.
There's a line out the door.
What?
For Skunksicles. I mean, part of the fun is, shoo. That's the two sounds you make. You're going to walk into Skunksicles and you're going to make two sounds.
I'm not going to go into a place and smell everybody in a line with a clothespin on their nose.
They offer clothespins, sure. But that's really more of a cartoon thing. You don't do that good. You remember back when everybody had the Black Death and they had perfumed. How old are you? And
Black Death.
They had perfumed handkerchiefs because everybody was rotten from the outside and in. And they carry the perfume handkerchief around. They go, oh, things ain't so bad. Kind of sounds like today. But they also offer perfumed handkerchiefs. So when you eat this Skunksicle, just so you don't gag too bad.
I don't want to gag. Nothing. I just eat a regular popsicle to cool off.
Well, it's your loss.
Well, I don't see how it is. I ain't got to smell something that smell like that.
Also, if you come to Skunksicles and you stand in that 2-hour line and you get up there and you're disappointed because they don't sell popsicles for skunks, that's your own problem. I mean, there's signage all over the place that says not for skunks. If you're trying to feed skunks something that will keep them happy, fat and happy, so they don't spray you with whatever hole it comes out of.
All right.
Or if you're trying to poison them because you're a monster, because they're cute, or if you're trying to scare them away, like throw skunk food into your neighbor's yard so all the skunks live there now. Whatever you're trying to do, if it does not involve sucking on something that smells bad but tastes good, you're going to be disappointed. Except so many people showed up expecting some sort of skunk food that she did start selling little bags of skunk feed. But that will only draw skunks to you. So if that's not your plan, I don't know what to tell you. Try the internet. That's where most things are sold these days. Also, if you show up and you stand in line for 2 hours and you get up there and you go, so where's all the bicycles for skunks? You're a fucking idiot.
All right.
It's not even a thing, and yet it happens 3 or 4 times a day.
All right.
So she had to have somebody draw up a sign of a skunk on a bicycle and put the Ghostbusters thing around it, the circle with the slash through it, so that people know that skunks are not riding bicycles in this store. You can't buy a bicycle for a skunk in this store. You can, as the name implies, only buy a delicious popsicle that tastes almost like grape and smells like shit.
All right.
So that's Skunksicles, almost like grape.
Yeah.
Well, Jackie, actually, I've got a sponsor that I think you're really going to like.
No, I don't like any of them hardly, but
you remember last week, I believe, when I talked about Skunksicles?
Oh, hell, what?
Dottie Harp made them Skunksicles. She took all her expertise in syrups and tastes and textures and scents from working in Jamba Juices and candle stores, and she figured out how to make probably the best tasting popsicle for these global warming, climate changing, hot ass times. Yeah, who needs a ambulance blanket when the world is on fire?
I said it's in the back of the ambulance. It ain't outside.
This popsicle tastes so good. The flavor's hard to describe. It's almost like grape. You need it to cool your tongue down because it's so damn hot. And also, it tastes so almost like grape. So hard to describe. So impossible to forget. It smells like shit. It's Skunksicles. It tastes like a skunk.
Why don't I just get a regular sickle, a popsicle, and one that most of them don't really have a smell anyway, and that tastes real good.
Yeah, it tastes real good, but does it taste amazing?
Why not just get grape? I not just get a great popsicle and not have to suffer through the horrible smell? That doesn't make any sense to me.
If she could fix the smell, it doesn't taste as good. If it tastes almost like grape, then just get grape and don't worry about it stinking up everywhere around you. It smells bad. And when you walk into that Skunksicles store, you're going to say two things. You're going to go, shoo, and you're going to go, because this is the best tasting Skunksicle you ever had.
All right, shut your mouth. It don't make any damn bit of sense to me.
There's a line out the door.
Dumbass sponsor go on to the line out the door.
Here's the problem. She got to move. She cannot be, you know where she was, like off the square, but in that residential neighborhood that they gentrified.
Yeah.
And she had that one, like the hipster shop, Skunksicle, another hipster shop.
Yeah.
Well, she can't stay there because the gentrifiers are like, you stinking up the joint. It smells too bad. Everybody, she brought the gentrifiers and the people being run out of their own neighborhood together because they're all like, no.
Well, that makes sense. If something's smelling that bad, I'd sign whatever petition I had to sign to get that stink to go.
Well, that's what brings people together is when you have a common enemy.
Yeah.
So the line was out the door and people are just noisy, waiting. Like, I can't wait to get my Skunksicle, just loud. Like, people go, shoo, and people go, it's too loud. And then the smell, the skunk smell, it was like a skunk just sprayed everybody with whatever.
Why would
stink hole?
Why would you wait and suffer? You going to suffer through that. It's going to be a lot longer if you're waiting in line than the reward of just eating a popsicle. That don't make a damn bit of sense.
They offer clothes.
Go to Kroger and get you a box of great popsicles. Good Lord.
They offer scented handkerchiefs for your nose.
Scented.
Oh, and the other thing was...
That shouldn't be necessary. That's the point. I just make great popsicles.
You're living in the past, Jackie. This is how things are now. Let's address how things are now. Wow. Nostalgia is a trap.
Wow.
Also, actual skunks were showing up because she had all that skunk feed because people were showing up to Skunksicles looking for popsicles to feed skunks because they got mixed up by the sign.
As stupid it is to say this, that actually makes more sense than what you're talking about. And that's stupid.
So she had bags of feed to sell to people, skunk feed, who were looking to feed skunks to keep them happy so they didn't spray. Point being, she has no physical storefront right now. The Skunksicles is closed. She does have an online presence. So you can order Skunksicles. And she'll bring them to you in like a Kroger ice cream bag.
I'm going to get on the computer and ask for someone to come over and stink up my house.
You're right. It's not the same. You want to stand in line.
No,
you want to hear it coming out.
No, I don't want to do any of that.
Well, thank God. And I believe you know Wyatt Grubwheel.
I know Wyatt Grubwheel, that horse trick. He does.
Famous Murfreesboro cowboy artist.
Yeah. He does the horses as celebrity by himself. Like, you name a celebrity, he'll do a horse up.
That looks like that celebrity.
Tom Cruise. If Tom Cruise was a horse
version of Tom Cruise.
Which, that's funny. That's good.
Or he'll do a horse that he would imagine you having if you had a horse.
Yeah. And he can put a horse in any picture of you that you got, which people love pictures of themselves these days on computers. Send them to Wyatt, and he can add a horse. He can either paint it or use computers, however you want it done, to any picture that you got horse. That's my sponsor last week, not this week, but But I know Wyatt Grubwheel. What the hell's he got to do with any of that?
Well, he said, he's got that horse tricks over there at the damn. He's intimidating. He's scary. He spits out that long, hard stream of tobacco juice in that can. Always scared me as a kid. He did at the fair when he'd be doing caricatures. He'd be like, "I rode a horse here," and then I'd see him put all his stuff in the hatchback. You remember from last week? Well, he parks that hatchback over there in Cowboy Canyon. Where all of Murfreesboro's cowboys live.
Well, most of them getting up in age now, but there's a lot of them. There's a few youngins, but
ornery cusses and cantankerous old coots, grizzled, leathery. Cowboy is Cowboys over there in Cowboy Canyon.
It's still technically Murfreesboro, but people say that it's on the outskirts of Murfreesboro, which it is, but it's still just Cowboy Canyon.
It's just a neighborhood. It ain't even a canyon.
Well, it's technically still, part of Murfreesboro, but people call it, Cowboy Canyon. That's what people refer to it as, yeah.
Well, he said, I got this Horse-Stritz storefront over here, and I just ain't getting the foot traffic because people don't come out to Cowboy Canyon as much as they used to.
Yeah.
Too many grizzled old cusses. So kids just ain't into that cowboy shit like they used to be, but I know they like your Skunksicles. So why don't we do Horse-Stritz and Skunksicles, and I'll do the Horse-Stritz. And I reckon he pushed his hat up off his eyes. The sun caught it bounced off the haze. Anyway, he said, yeah, just come over here and do it. And she said, all right. Well, guess what? The Cowboy Commission said, no way.
Well, that makes sense.
They said, draw, you sucker. We almost had it's not a gunfight because they don't really have guns.
No.
But they want to throw, gravel at each other. Whatever. A bunch of cantankerous old cusses are mad and cantankerous at each other, and now White Grubwheel, they're about to kick White Grubwheel out of Cowboy Canyon.
Well,
just because he wanted to let Skunksicles come in.
When you get up in age, you got enough problems as it is without everything stinking all the damn time. So I don't blame
when
him one
you
lick.
get up in age, everything does stink all the damn time.
No.
You can try to put as much damn Old Spice or whatever the hell.
Just shut your mouth.
So, for now, I would say TBD. They're trying to work something out. But the damn old Cowboy Canyon.
Well, I'll wait on bated breath for that. Like I'm really concerned how that turns out. I don't really give a damn. It less stink in the town for me. I ain't been near it because I don't like things that stink. First off, let me say I got what you call a sensitive nose. I don't want to be around stuff that just.
What if they taste good?
It don't make any sense to me how something could taste good and stink at the same time. That don't make sense to me.
Well, I think you may be surprised, and I think this may be the breakthrough everybody in Cowboy Canyon is looking for.
I ain't going to be surprised when something stinks because I ain't going to be around. The last thing I'm going to do when something stinks real bad is put it in my mouth.
Well, I've heard that before. And Dottie is working on a damn saddle sickle.
All right. What?
A saddle sickle. A cowboy-scented popsicle.
Cowboy scented.
She said, okay, what if I could make something that smells like all of you elderly cowpokes, but even worse? And they said, maybe we'd have to taste it. So she said, okay, give me a week. And she said, I'm going to need some samples.
Enough of
I'm going to need some saddle samples from you.
All right.
I need what's the seat of your pants smell like?
I don't want to hear. What is your sponsor? What is it? You Skunksicles, you can't get them nowhere because no one will have them around.
They're coming soon.
She'd give you $25 for that.
She'd give me $25 just to update people on the situation. Come on. It's been more confusing ones than that over the years.
Thank you kindly for still listening to the Red State Update on here. This is a part of our podcast where we do local sponsors to help us keep the computers running and the lights on and all that sort of stuff. We need the microphones on. Local sponsors here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So if the local people love hearing about it because they hear about new deals, new places to visit, new restaurants to go to, on and on. And of course, if you ain't from Murfreesboro, you might want to come on through here. You may have just a reason to go on a nice vacation. You may hear it on here first, yeah.
And Jackie, you know, of course, that's what people are doing right now, thanks to my sponsor this week. People are traveling from all over America to come.
You better not be talking
to Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
You better not be about to say what I think you about to say. I'll shut up because I ask you to shut up. Every time I do a sponsor, you talk through mine, and I ain't going to treat somebody else that way. But I'm telling you right now, it better not be who I think it is.
Jackie, thank you for that respect you're paying me right now. And I know that that's not because of who I am. It's because of who I represent. My sponsor today, America's newest taste and smell sensation.
Don't you say it. Don't you say it. Don't you dare say it. I am not going to be affiliated with anything that promotes what I think you about to do.
Skunksicles.
Oh, hell.
Skunksicles and Jackie, Skunksicles, is that what you didn't want me to say, or did you not want me to say their hot new advertising slogan that has swept America and has got everyone in this great nation of ours, TBA.
No.
TBD.
What?
TBA. TBA is to be announced.
To be what?
TBD is to be determined. Is that right?
I don't know.
Everyone in this great nation of ours, TBD, is in their cars on their way here to Murfreesboro because they have the new great grand advertising slogan in their head, and that slogan is Taste the Stink.
What?
Taste Stink.
Taste.
That's the shorter version.
The stink.
Yeah, Skunksicles.
Taste.
Jackie, it is
ain't
hot.
Nobody coming, getting in the cars to come here. People are leaving. You saying it the wrong way. There are people getting in their cars and leaving. Hopefully they could only go on vacation for a week and hopefully have the situation resolved.
If nobody likes Skunksicles, then how come they got stores over in Old West Town?
Because people are crazy, I guess. I don't make any sense. The whole town of Murfreesboro, there's a scent in, it's on the wind. You go outside, you turn around and go back inside. It still gets through the windows, gets under why would you get something that smells that bad?
Dottie Harp knew how hot it was. She said, summer's coming. This is her biography.
Why do you want things to stink then? If summer's coming, that's the worst time. When things are hot is when you definitely don't want it to stink. Because if it's hot, whatever it is, probably going to start stinking more.
She got in the kitchen and she cooked up the best tasting popsicle. It's almost like grape. And it cools you down. Tastes so good. It smells like shit. It smells
awful.
Like a skunk sprayed you right out of their waist hole, right into your face. And then it froze and you're licking it.
And that's all you can smell right now in town because everybody's going to get these damn things.
Well, because they taste so good. They made so much money that she was over there in Old West Town where she also made a scented treat that smelled like old saddles and skin and taint.
I would take that. I wish that would well, what is it again?
That's just more like a rent. That's more like rent. She had to pay some of the other old cowboys, not just White Grub Wheel, who also does horse strits.
Oh, he's good. I like him, yeah.
See, he just said, because the line wraps around the whole saloon and there in Old West Town, where all of Murfreesboro's retired old grizzled cowboys lope and rope and holler and get along.
Wow.
They need a good advertising slogan like Taste the Stink or Taste Stink. So they had lines wrapped around the saloon. She's like, you know what? People were mad about this earlier because of the stank, and I was forced to come to the outskirts of town, to old Murfreesboro cowboy town. But now they're seeing that money. Now the only thing they smell is money. Money is the name of the game, and now they put one in a Kroger. You know how Kroger's got like Starbucks in them?
Look, Kroger
kicked out of Starbucks and said, I'm going to put in a Skunksicles.
Everybody knows Kroger stink every now and then, but certainly not all the time. Not all the time, and that's what it is now. You go into Kroger, it just stinks.
The whole town stinks.
I know it does. What is wrong with you?
Ain't it glorious?
The few people that are still sane are leaving. They said, I hope it's fixed between now and next week. I got to come back. I got a week's leave from work. I can't take it anymore.
Well, those sound like Bernie Sanders supporters who hate capitalism.
Oh, hell.
We're here to make money. Money is the name of the game.
You can like capitalism and still hate stinks. in your nose. You can make money hand over fist with which I guess is what you're doing, but how's it worth it when you can't even smell? I mean, this everything, it permeates everything.
Listen, let me tell you something. The best thing about this, aside from the great tasting, tongue-cooling treats, is that Murfreesboro skunks now feel emboldened, and they're cute. Skunks are cute. Now, they'll spray you.
You're damn right they will.
But now, because everything already stinks, nobody's got a gripe with skunks. So skunks are just walking around free and easy.
They ain't helping matters by putting more of the stink out there. It just smells awful.
Skunksicles now has 17 locations across Murfreesboro and Smyrna.
What's wrong with people? Of course, we got Trump in the White House and everything got to stink.
And there are 4 skunk pet rescues stores.
Stores?
People are selling skunks. You shouldn't get a pet from a store.
No, that's illegal to have certain kind of animals. You don't need to have no skunk. Skunk ain't supposed to be a pet.
Well, nobody cares now.
Well, I care.
Because skunks don't stink because stink is already in the air. And skunks don't stink because they're cute. And that's the name of the stores, is Skunks Don't Stink. And you can go in there and buy or rescue a skunk right now. I don't really know I don't know where they're making their money. Oh, well, yeah, they sell Skunksicles in there. So the skunks are ones that have been, maybe there's something wrong with them. So you go in there, rescue a skunk, get you a Skunksicle. Everybody's happy.
I don't know how Wyatt can handle it, letting it in Cowboy Town. That's where it all started. I saw Wyatt the other week, and I asked her, I said, Mr. Grubwell, I said, how can you the smell, how do you, he said, well, have you had one yet? And I said, hell no, why would I put something in my mouth, taste something that smells like that? He said, well, it makes a world of difference. I said, I know it's bad. I know, but you get some of that. There's no way I'm ever going to put any in my mouth, especially if it is that good. I don't want to like something that smells like that.
Why would you argue with a cowboy artist?
I ain't going to argue with him. If he wants everything to smell like that, so be it. I ain't going to put it in my mouth. There's no way in hell I'm going to do it.
He always intimidated me.
Well, you know.
Dottie Harp likes living in Cowboy Town. She wears
good for her. I got
chaps.
nothing against Dottie Harp. I'm glad she's making some money. But I'm telling you what, close up shop. Have you made enough yet? You've sold so many that the entire town of Murfreesboro stinks like to high hell. I can't even describe what it is. It's like going to the bathroom and also an animal sick or dead and food rotten. It's like all 3 of those things. And it's the worst thing I ever smelled in my life. And I can't go anywhere without smelling. I wear a clothespin over my damn nose half the damn time, put Vicks Vapor Rub in my beard, just so I can't,
Would you ask Walt Disney if he made enough money?
What?
Would you ask Ronald McDonald if he'd made enough money?
Well, Walt Disney's dad and Ronald McDonald, you don't see him as much these days. So he's getting up in age or something, but I ain't going to ask either one of them.
So that is Skunksicles, Taste the Stink, Murfreesboro, Tennessee,
all right.
Home of the stink.
Right.
Get your tongue down here, cool it off, taste that stink.
Yeah, well, that's kind of figured what it was going to be. I thought, I knew when you said, you winked at me earlier, I said, what's your sponsor? And you linked. So, tell you what, I'm ready for it today.
Also, I have his sty.
Man, get it looked at. But look, I ain't going to smell this no more. I'm telling people they don't need to smell this no more. Something's got to be done, and that's why I'm proud to have my sponsor. If you don't want to smell it anymore, you need to get you a delicious and a hot day, stinky butt day, as we call them here in Murfreesboro now.
Not me.
Well, that's what I call it.
Okay. Well, that's difference of opinion.
Well, when it's a days like that, it's hot and stinky, get you to the store and get you a Glade Pop. Tell you what, you're going to be helping yourself out. You're going to be helping the entire community out. Get you a Glade Pop. I got a freezer full of them, and I can't really go anywhere without one these days. And then once you get a Glade Pop, you're going to be the same way. You're going to want a Glade Pop on you at all times, especially until we can rectify this situation. And I think by getting and enjoying a good Glade Pop, you're helping your community out. You're helping your fellow man. We're going to get things set right. And no, we're not going to smell this no more. No, we're not.
What's a Glade Pop? It tastes like Glade or smells like Glade?
Well, you don't really eat it. It's basically just it looked like a popsicle, but it just sprayed out Glade.
What? From the popsicle part or the stick?
Not the stick part. Well, if you can't hold it and spray it in your hand, you hold it by the stick, and then it comes out the part that look like a popsicle or whatever. They also got push-up kind.
Well, wait,
like sherbet where you push, you push up and the smell sprays out of it. I think you could eat some of that one though. It's like inside the sherbet or something.
Wait, you can't eat the Glade Pop?
Glade Pop ain't for eating. That's just for smelling. Which you gonna need one. Have one hang around your neck. Put it somewhere. Put it in your pocket because it's awful.
What can you eat a Skunksicle with it?
Why would you do that? You're defeating the purpose of it. Eat a regular, if it's almost like grape, just go get a regular grape popsicle and not have to, hold your nose all damn day. Get your Glade Pop. Help a situation out. Spray some of that in there.
Why do you have to get why don't you just get a can of Glade?
Well, they're just trying to do something to get, everybody's got these, Skunksicles.
I get a plug-in. They can't come up with the technology to make you spray out of the stick, and then they put an actual popsicle on top of it.
It's not
What if you're hungry?
Look, it ain't for eating. It's for smelling.
Also, let me tell you something, Jackie. Ain't no stink ever been covered up by no Glade. Glade makes stink worse. You go around spraying that Glade, all people think is somebody just shit.
All right, enough. But it smells like that already all the time anyway. It ain't gonna make it any worse. I'm telling you, they got. It
does make it worse. Glade makes things worse.
No, it don't. It's better.
If you hear somebody in a damn bathroom and you hear them go shh, you're like, you're just making it worse, dude. Now everybody can hear that you just shit, and they're gonna smell that Glade shit. Smell.
Well, everywhere you go smells like somebody's doing that right now, so why not try to do something to cover it up?
I don't even know what Glade smells like, because to me, there's always a base of shit in the smell.
You should appreciate the effort for somebody doing that. They're doing it for your consideration. And you sit there and run them down. Glade Pop, it comes in 2 different flavors. Look, if one smell don't like, at least you got, a couple of options. Skunksicle stink. Smells like all what I said earlier, all the time. Period.
Is this made by Glade, or did somebody just go make a bunch of... It doesn't even make sense. Why don't you just carry around a can of Glade?
Well, you can, I guess, but,
Describe for me this contraption.
It looks like a popsicle. It's got a stick. But the popsicle part, you push it, and the smell come out. Spray.
And you can't eat it or lick it.
I wouldn't want to, would you? Would you like to get a Glade and eat it and lick it?
But then why don't you just carry Glade?
Why don't you
maybe keep it in the freezer?
Why don't you just carry a regular damn popsicle and we wouldn't be in this damn situation to begin with?
Because it tastes almost like grape.
Get grape. It don't stink. Get grape.
Can I just say one thing? Sometimes when we're talking about the news, I don't have a firm grasp on the facts. I may not have researched every story. I don't have a strong point of view. I don't know what I'm arguing for. Am I for Joe Biden, against him? Am I sort of for him, but mostly against him? Do I just want somebody? I feel like people on Twitter have strong points of view. That people are dying. We're here to do something. I've got the facts. I've got a take. And here, Jackie, you and me have done 350, 60 of these podcasts, and sometimes I feel lost and confused and completely adrift, and that maybe what I'm doing is more of a disservice to people than anything else.
Probably is, yeah.
But sometimes we get on here and we start talking about shitting and stinking.
All right.
Spraying Glade around.
Enough.
And I said, okay, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Sometimes I can still feel like I'm called to do something by the Lord, I'd say, by the Lord God Jesus.
What?
Like right now. So you want to go around and spray shit cover up.
It comes in 2 flavors, Glade Pop. It comes in fresh pet scent and floral.
I feel like those are just categories. What is fresh pet scent? Does that mean it smelled like a pet?
No, it's to make it when you have a pet and don't, I guess maybe after you give a dog a bath, it smells like that. I don't know.
That's terrible. That's worse.
It's not near as bad as what it smells like here all the time. Don't even come close. I'd rather have a dog that didn't bathe for, 3 damn months, and I'd get down there and huff that dog before I had to smell one more day of this. What the hell is brought to this town?
So are you saying Glade Corporation themselves come around and is selling these Glade pops because of the skunk market, or that some old boy went down and bought dollar store Glade, which is worse? Have you ever been in a dollar store bathroom? That's what they use in there.
Well,
and you know who they got Dollar General stores every 10 feet in the damn South. If you can't make it home, if you've got to shit and you can't make it home from a Dollar General store,
all right,
then you are in trouble. And that's fine. I ain't saying everybody's digestive system has to hold up to some sort of scrutiny that no one could possibly withstand in today's America with the news and the Taco Bells. But I am saying, think about who shits in a dollar store. Disgruntled employees and people that can't ride 7 minutes down the road.
All right.
And then think about that dollar store Glade ripoff and think about how that smells. Every time you go in a dollar store bathroom, Dollar General, any of them, think about how bad that smells. And that's what this man here, Jackie Broles, wants to spray around your community of Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
I'd rather be sitting locked up in that bathroom somebody just got finished using that you described than having to spend one more day smelling Skunksicles, whatever the hell it is. It's the worst smelling thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'd love to lock you up in that bathroom and strap a dog to your damn nose.
Well,
so you huff away.
I would.
People coming in there to shit in distress. Having to see you smelling that dog.
All right.
You're making everything smell worse. People are like, well, what smells worse? This toilet pile of loose stool?
Use floral then.
Or that dog that's been rolling around in death and other dog shit? Or that old man who hates people's joy, the smell of joy, so much he can't even take a look in the mirror and smell himself.
Oh, hell.
So that is, what is it, Skunks? What's your Glade pop?
It don't matter.
It's just why don't they give you a popsicle and a can of Glade to walk around with? That makes sense, too.
What do you care? You just like things to smell like it all the time. So what the hell do you care? If you're tired of the way it is, you want to fight for your town, get you a Glade pop, please.
So that's
Spray
Glade
it everywhere.
Pop and Skunksicles taste the stink, or taste stink.
Throw up in my mouth again.
Jackie, the 4th of July is coming up, and it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Your mouth is hot. It's burning up. Put something cold on that, and something delicious, and something that tastes almost like grape, and something that stinks to high heaven.
Just shut
Taste
up.
that stink. Lick a stink. That's the motto of your favorite summertime treat.
It ain't my favorite nothing.
Skunksicles.
Nope.
Skunksicles has taken Middle Tennessee by storm. They have 134 locations in the Middle Tennessee area.
Too damn many. I don't need one, let alone that many.
If you're driving up from Alabama or down from Kentucky and you're like, holy God, what is that smell?
I live here. I ain't got to go anywhere. Come from anywhere. I smell it every damn day.
Well, that smell is what I call deliciousness.
Terrible.
Deliciousness.
Awful.
Deliciousness.
No, it don't smell good. It don't smell. Smell ain't delicious unless it smells good, and this smells awful.
Look, some people associate good smells with good taste. Now, here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, in the surrounding Middle Tennessee area, we know that you can associate bad smells with good taste because you're going to get a popsicle cooling off that hot tongue of yours.
People are crazy as hell. Why the hell would you put anything that smells that bad in your mouth? Something's wrong with you. Something wrong with you. Something wrong with more than half this damn town.
Let me list some benefits that you get from a skunksicle.
Everything's stinking. Period.
Deliciousness. Almost great taste. Skunks.
Just go.
Cute and adorable.
No.
Walking up and down the street. Nobody's scared of them no more because everything stinks already because of all the skunksicle locations.
Yeah.
So skunks are free to just walk around, dig for grubs or whatever, be cute and adorable. Because if they spray you right in your fucking face, it doesn't matter. Everything stinks already. It's wonderful.
No, it ain't.
I call it freedom, which brings me back to the point about Independence Day, the day that everyone got together and got free. Most people. This 4th of July, come on down to Skunksicle, your favorite Skunksicle location, because we have new colors. This hasn't happened. You had one Skunksicle and you were happy with it.
What the color got to do with anything? It stinks. I
Red,
don't care what color.
white, and blue. You gonna say that stinks?
If it smells like not those colors all the time, but if it's on that,
those colors don't run and those colors don't stink, except they do when you get them on a delicious Skunksicle.
I don't want them that way.
Red is skunk. White is extra skunk.
Why would you want
blue? Is odorless.
Blue,
huh?
Tell everybody you don't have no get blue. Why even have red or white? If you have it and it tastes that good and it's blue.
Oh, red is skunk.
I heard that.
White is extra skunk.
Which don't make any sense. It's already awful.
What's blue? It's odorless.
Everybody start doing that one.
Yeah, they're sold out.
What do you mean they're sold out?
They don't have the dye. They run out of the blue dye.
Oh, hell.
They can't get that blue dye because everybody
Who cares
wants it.
what color it is if there's a way to make it with no odor?
What?
Then
No.
that.
Red is skunk, white is extra skunk, and blue is odorless.
Odorless.
It's blue.
If you ain't got the blue color, you just make it whatever color it is.
What are you not understanding? Red
I'm
is skunk,
understanding
white is extra skunk, blue is odorless.
Blue then. Blue. Make everybody have blue.
They're sold out.
How do they sell out of it?
They run out of the dye.
What is the dye got to, how do you make it not stink? Is it the dye that does that?
No, the dye is only to provide the color blue.
Well, then, to hell with the blue then. To hell with it. Just make it not stink. Clear.
Do you even know what country you're in? I mean, sometimes I get confused. These days. Red. White. What's the next thing?
Blue, but it
That's right.
Oh, hell, just fine.
Be a true patriot.
Yeah. Well, I am going to be a true patriot. I don't care how bad it stinks. Oh, I do care how bad it stinks because you can't go outside anywhere, and I enjoy my Independence Days. I like to be outdoors, and I tell you one thing, it wouldn't be Independence Day if you didn't have some fireworks. Fireworks. I love fireworks. Well, not all the time, but this year, because sometimes it's just loud as hell.
Yeah, usually you're like they're loud. You don't like the smoke.
But hear me out. Now, hear me out. It's going to be
fire hazard.
It's going to be right off a square. They're having a big, you know how they do every year. They used to have a big firework thing. Not big, but, as big as we could have. But this year is going to be extra big. Get down there. I'm telling you what, Independence Day, July 4th. Get down here and enjoy the Glade Pop Scented Fireworks Spectaculars. Smoke bombs, sparklers, all with the fresh scent of either fresh pet scent or floral. Roman candles, all of the smell comes off of all of these things. Whether a little worm, a little thing you light, it goes in a circle, whatever it is. I don't remember what you call all of them, but that smell you're gonna have floral coming off of it when they go up in the sky and blow up, and all the smoke it comes back down and hopefully gonna cover up as much of this skunk, red, white, whatever the hell it is, with the delicious smells of, well, not delicious, but better smells of fresh pet scent and floral. That's the Glade.
Is this the Glade Corporation? because I'm unclear. From last week when you said that Glade was making Glade Pops.
Well, somebody's using Glade to make it, I think. But Glade's involved in that the smells are being used of it.
So this is taking the patriotic fervor of a fireworks show and adding to it the scent of a freshly shit-in bathroom.
What do you mean?
Because everyone knows that Glade...
No, I just said fresh pet scent and floral. Those are the two different smells you'll be getting out of the various of fireworks exploding and putting the smell in the air to cover
Glade exists for one reason and one reason only, and that is to make the smell of shit worse.
Well, no. Anything's better. Even if it smells like that, that's better than whatever skunk stuff. And it don't smell like that, first and foremost. Now, I will admit, I like floral. I mean, it's better than the skunk smell. I hope that they take a few minutes to separate the fireworks floral from fresh pet scent, because when you combine the two, it's a little strong, But still, I'd still say that's better than the skunk. I just have, I'd rather have fresh pet scent by itself or floral by itself.
What does that smell like? Does it smell like a pet? Does it smell like
fresh pet?
A dog? A wet dog?
No, a clean a dog, I guess, or a cat, or whatever.
What does floral sound like? The sickly sweet smell of rotted plant?
No
carcass.
Floral. It's just flowers. Floral. That's what it. Yeah.
I never met a Glade scent that did anything but make shit smell worse. Because I've never smelled it anywhere where there wasn't just shit. That's all. Also, if I could just stop for a second.
Well, the whole town smells like it now. Worse than that, even. It's like the
That's
worst
the smell
kind
of capitalism, Jackie.
What?
Listen, sometimes when we do these things, and we've done, I don't know how many of them, hundreds at this point, and I think, what is even the point? And when you look at the news as bad as it is these days, and you say, well, somebody's got to do something. And we get on here and we cry out to the heavens. It's like, well, what's the point? Or we get on here, we talk about, let's talk about the Democrats. Well, are we hurting their chances? Are we running them down too much? Even the ones that ain't got a chance, like that, whatever his name with the weird voice was tonight.
Oh, yeah. He seemed all right, but
bald man. America's never going to elect a bald man president. Unless maybe they're like super racist.
Oh, yeah, if he's real racist, but maybe.
And like, do we even have, I see people on Twitter, they're like, I love Bernie Sanders, I'll take on all comers, or somebody, Elizabeth Warren's the only one for me, or Kamala Harris is going to prosecute them all, and we'll show them we're here, we're in their corner. Or we're talking about, I don't know, Wayfair, they walked out, then what happened? I don't have all the facts. I know a little bit about a few things, but do I really know enough? I mean, is this what privilege is, just to think that people want to hear us, Jackie, on here talking for an hour, and then they're going to give us $5 for it on Patreon, or they're going to click to download, and then, I mean, are we just making things worse? But then, every once in a while, we get to talking about Glade and shitting and terrible smells. And I go through this moment of rebirth and I say, this is what we have a podcast for, so we can say that Glade is associated with shit smells. If you have a can of Glade and you just shit in a bathroom in a small office, don't spray the Glade because it's not going to help. It's just going to make things worse.
What?
If you live in a town where people are finally taking a moment to enjoy a small indulgence like a delicious cooling popsicle that tastes almost like grape, but just happens due to the constraints of chemistry to have a horrible skunk-like smell, and then you're going to unleash a bunch of fireworks under the guise of patriotism, which, I mean, let's be honest, we should all be questioning that these days. And then you're going to spray that shit smell out into the Middle Tennessee area, and it's just going to augment and make worse. the skunk smell, and then everybody's just going to remember like they're going to be triggered and traumatized. It's going to bring up all their terrible shit story traumas about the time they had to shit somewhere and cover it up and spray a bunch of Glade everywhere, and that Glade scent's going to be coming down as they're trying to have a note of hope about this country, just like one single note of hope after seeing the fireworks, and then the Glade scent comes down and it touches their nose and reminds them of the time that they were on a first date and they'd gone to Chili's and something was bad and they had to go to the girl's bathroom, and it all come out in a semi-liquid form. And it was the worst thing either one of them had smelled. And he found a bottle of green apple Glade. He smelled that. He can't even look at a Jolly Rancher now. And she had to move. And you're going to do that to a country that's barely hanging on a holiday that serves as a note of hope? You're going to shit all over a note of hope? Oh, shit, they sitting some off now. Did y'all hear that?
I just hope they separate them if it's just fresh pet scent on one, the hour of that, then give it a rest and then flower.
Listen, as long as it ain't green apple.
We also appreciate our local Murfreesboro sponsors. And I have a correction that I have to make, and I apologize about this because this is a wonderful sponsor. I've enjoyed having them on here. I've enjoyed all that they've done and tried to do for the local community. That's I had the. I'm up there in age, and I don't say things as good as I used to, and this is all on me. Nobody else's fault but mine. I just mispronounced a few things, and I want to say it correctly, and I'm glad to still have you as a sponsor, but I want to say it right. It is not Glade Pops or Glade scented fireworks. This is on me. I said it wrong. I guess I was thinking in my head it was like Glade. It smells like Glade as far as fresh pet scent or floral. But it is not said like it's a different product entirely. It's not. It is still a smelling product, I would say. It's spray, whatever you want to call it, smell in your nose. But it is not Glade. That the only thing they have in common is that they are scented or involve smells. That's it, nothing else. And that their names are spelled pretty much the same, but I guess pronounced differently. Glade is spelled Glade. It says Glade Pops. And we appreciate the effort anyway over the 4th of July. Hopefully got down to the scented fireworks event. It was quite something, but that was the Glade scented fireworks.
So you're here to tell me that they is a company. I know that I did have several questions like, is this Glade?
Well, you got
is somebody just dumping Glade?
Correction. It's not. It's Glade.
It's spelled the same as Glade.
But I said it wrong. You can understand it's an honest mistake. I didn't. They explained to me what I was saying, and I hope I didn't get him in any kind of legal trouble. If it did, it's on me. It ain't their fault. I said it wrong. It's Glade. Glade.
It's spelled the same. They make the same product.
No, not the Glade don't make no Glade Pop. And as far as I know, Glade ain't in the fireworks business yet. And if I do, they'd probably be ripping Glade off. So be careful what you do, because, it could go either way on this, I think, legally wise, couldn't it?
So you say it could be Glade that gets sued by Glade?
If they decided to venture into fireworks, I don't see why not. That'd raise an eyebrow to me.
Is this Glade Skoball?
Huh?
Glade Skoball. Is that who makes these Glade Pops?
Might be affiliated with it, maybe.
And also, are you saying that The company is Glade, but the pops are Glade pops?
No.
They're
Glade pops. Glade pop. I said it looked like Glade pop, but it's Glade pop, but it also smells. You don't eat it. You don't eat it. You just put out the smell. Remember?
All I remember is that Glade Skowball.
I don't care what you remember. All you need to know is whether this is Glade or Glade, and it's Glade. End of story. Correction made. Happy to have you as a sponsor. Appreciate the effort of trying to change the smell in the particular community at the moment. I do any effort given for that. I appreciate.
I remember Glade Skowball being in a damn I can't remember what parking lot it was. We was both drunk. He said, "Someday I'm going to sue the hell out of Glade. I must make my own." He said, "Because I'll tell you why I remember this is because." Remember, he also one time figured he could make his own paint. And you remember he opened up that store called Sherburne Billiams? And it had the logo just the same, except they was B's.
Well,
where they should be W's.
That was paint and paint. So that's paint and,
And let me tell you something. If you think you can make paint, you can't. Because that's why he figured out the hard way.
Listen, whether he is involved in this or not, like I said, I think he's affiliated with it. I think he probably, I would say, learned his lesson with that, with the paint store, as you mentioned. But now, Glade don't make no Glade pops or any kind of pops, and Glade don't do fireworks.
You remember when he tried to open up the co-op, farmers co-op, but he called it the Bo-op.
Well, that ain't what he's doing now.
He just puts a B in front of places, and he said, "This is all, I'm just getting in practice." I said, "What are you doing?" Because we was in another parking lot. What parking lot was that? And we was both drunk. I said, "Why do you keep opening up these rip-off stores?" And it's one day, because my name is Glade, and everybody calls me Glade, and they make a sound like somebody spraying after they shit. He's drunk. He's really just opening up to me.
Then probably nothing to it then. I don't know what you're talking about. He runs
so one day I'm going to take everything that's Glades will be mine.
What? What do they have besides smell cans? Spray. What are the air fresheners?
That's about it.
Well, why would you want that? That don't make any sense.
He's just mad. He's mad.
Well,
remember old Cats Records when there was Cats Records? And he come out, and Cats Records hadn't been open in years and years. He made Bats Records. And you remember they had that cartoon of a cat, and he just made it into a bat? But it just looked like a black cat.
I don't remember every business he was involved in.
Those are the only three. And he just took a logo and put a B in it, and then figured that he didn't know how to do the actual stuff. Because, who buys records now? And paint is hard to make. And then the other one, whatever that one was, the third one I said.
All right. Glade, my correction is made. Glade is a proper pronunciation. That's on me. That's my fault.
And we think it's Glade Skowball, right?
I'm not going to confirm or deny any of that. It could be affiliated. It could not be.
That's too bad. It's too bad because I'd really like to know.
I didn't get $25 to go on about whoever. I got it to make a correction on the product of which I was my sponsor last few weeks, and it's still now, even if they not as needed as it were on July 4th. We'd appreciate it, but that just, I have to say, I stick to the Glade pops because the fireworks smell with the skunks. It was a rough night. July 4th was a rough day for America in general because what was going on. But it was rough here, and it just smelled awful. I'm going to say it right now. But it was a good effort. Glade, but if you Glade pops right under your nose, is the point I'm trying to say. It's right there, so you can just squirt it, and it's the first thing you smell, and there you go. It ain't all over.
It's really too bad that you and Glade Skowball hate Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
What the hell are you talking about? I don't hate.
It's really too bad that Jackie Broles and Glade Skowball hate Jesus Christ,
what are you
our
talking
Lord
about?
and Savior.
What the hell is wrong with you?
when you walk outside and you smell the stench of Skunksicles, folks, if you're just joining us, if this is the first one of these you've ever listened to, Skunksicles by Dottie Harp has been sweeping the Middle Tennessee area. Murfreesboro has been in the thrall of these delicious, almost like grape-flavored popsicles that cool your tongue down so fast, ice that tongue down, and they stink.
They
to high
smell
heaven.
crazy people. Why do you want to put that smell everywhere? It
People,
smells awful.
There's so many locations now. People lined up round the block to get this delicious stank in their mouth. It's the delicious stank of Skunksicles, and when you walk outside and you smell that Skunksicle air, no matter what Glade's been trying to do, and Glade, I guess Glade was not involved at all now.
Did you listen to what I said?
I'm just clarifying.
Well, you don't need to clarify nothing. You just do your damn sponsor.
When you walk
stinks,
outside,
and then don't say anything blasphemous from here on out. I ain't gonna listen to
you get
it.
a nostril full of that stink, Jackie, I guess what you're thinking is, I hope our Lord Satan got a clothespin on his nose.
Shut your mouth.
I hope they got a big shipment of clothespins down in hell.
Just shut it.
Because it sounds like people up here on earth got that Holy Ghost of feeling.
What?
Got that feeling of, because Jackie, I don't know if you notice it.
What?
The change in Dottie Harp lately?
I don't know the first thing about Dottie Harp. I ain't gonna go in there if she's got all these things on her, because they stink. If she got a bunch of one, is enough. A bunch of skunk shit, whatever the hell it is, I ain't getting near the woman.
Sometimes when people become successful, they lose touch. They forgot about where they come from. They forget about the people who made them. They forget about who put them here. The Lord God, Jesus Christ himself, Almighty. Some people say, you know what? I'm rich. I don't need church. I'm going to hire a bulldozer and knock all the churches down. How many times have you heard that story?
What?
Successful people like Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos and who else is rich? Walmart.
Yeah.
He knocked all the churches down so that people had to go to Walmart on Sundays.
Who?
Well, let me tell you something. Lee Iacocca, another one of them, dead now.
Yeah,
good.
Good.
Listen, Jesus lives in the heart of Dottie Harp. She was counting all her Skunksicle money, and she was like, oh, man, I'm going to put this in one of these old-timey Western safes since I live here in Murfreesboro's Cowboy town. And then she felt a nudge in her heart. It's like her heart opened up and let all that stank in from the air, all that stank in her heart. She let the stank in her heart. Before, she was afraid to let the stank in her heart. She was afraid to trust the stank in her heart. Now she opened up her heart and she let all that stank in, and now her heart is full of Jesus. And that stank. And she wrote a book. She was afraid to let the stank in, is what she called it, into her heart. Or learning to trust in the stank. She hasn't put it out yet. She's still workshopping titles.
A book?
She thinks she wants to let the stank in, but she's afraid that people who don't like Jesus will be like, you're calling Jesus stinky.
Well, yeah.
Or that people who do like Jesus will say, you're calling Jesus stinky. Or that people will say, she's calling Jesus stinky. And I said, you know what? You've got to go to where people who don't trust Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior are. Where maybe they don't know what you want. Everybody loves Skunksicles, but not everybody loves Jesus. Well, now what you want to do is get all the people that love Skunksicles to come over to Jesus and give you some of that Jesus money.
Jesus money?
Well, I mean, there's always money.
Well, you should just get people to, if you want to bring people to Jesus, that's one thing, but getting their money too.
I said, you got to get on some of them Dress to Success podcasts. Where people tell you the story of how they had a idea and then they started making Instagram soap and now they're on this podcast you're listening to. You got to get in that business podcast space, with the Skunksicle story, and people be like, that sounds interesting, a delicious popsicle that stinks, and then at the end slip in the Jesus. Like if Lee Iacocca had a podcast, think how good that podcast would have been.
What?
And then if he talked about Jesus a little bit at the end and the Skunksicles.
Well, ain't none of the three of those got anything to do with one another. She
hosted Vacation Bible School. She went out to Vacation Bible School this week. The theme was, it was Skunksicle themed. And it was called Let the Stink In.
Why would anybody go to that?
And then, of course, all the kids were joking about Let the Stink Out. You know how that went. So she slapped one of them. It caused a minor scene. But all they did was they told the mother of the kid she slapped, you can't come back to this church.
Right.
So that solved that problem. She said, don't. She got a lot of parents on her side because she was like, don't blaspheme. Have a Skunksicle. And a bunch of kids tasted them Skunksicles and they said, these taste real good. She said, would they taste as good if we called them Jesus-sicles? And I said, I think you don't put Jesus right front and center. Get in the spaces where they don't like Jesus. And
don't
she said,
get blasphemous.
She said, no, I want Jesus. I want Jesus on the names of these popsicles. I want the Jesus to be the name of my popsicle.
What?
I want Jesus to be the name.
You can't take
of my popsicle.
Jesus' name. You can't.
No, you can't. It is not copyrighted. I checked.
What? It's in the Bible. It says somewhere don't use his names or something like that. You ain't supposed to use Jesus, especially not for a pop shekel.
It says don't use the Lord's name in vain. It doesn't say don't
smell like it. Don't associate Jesus in any way with something with stinks.
Jesus-sicles. When you put a Jesus-sicle in your mouth, the first thing you think is it almost tastes like grape. Oh my God, it's delicious. Oh, my tongue is so cold now. It feels great. And then skunk's ass.
Why?
But people already know about the skunk's ass. If you walk around, it all smells like skunk ass, except for the part where the Glade fireworks happened, which is just a very small corner of the park because they couldn't get the damn. What do you call it when you go to the police and say, give me a permits?
Yeah.
So I just thought that knowing how much you love Satan, Jackie, that you'd be
What does that got to... No,
upset.
I don't love Satan. Ain't got nothing to do with any of this.
Well, all I know is that Dottie Harp is a hardworking businesswoman who has made her mark
by stinking up a whole town.
And then she gave Jesus the credit for her success, and all you've been doing is running her down.
I'm running the smell down. She may be a fine person. Good for her. If she's born again, I'm happy for her. Good for her. Go get baptized. Do all of it. That's great. But if you've got this great product and you can make it without it stinking, make it that way. Don't make something stink so bad.
People want the stink.
No,
I don't.
I don't, and most people don't. It's become a town crisis. It's awful. You can't go outside without smelling it coming from somewhere now.
She says that it kind of goes to that whole, like, oh, forgive me, Lord, for I have sinned. So now I guess I have to eat one of these stinky popsicles. She said since she come out as Christian and put Jesus on the names of she says she still has some that say Skunksicles, and it's just got a skunk on it. And then she's still got some new ones that say Jesus-sicles, and it's Jesus, and his robe is like skunk colored, like it's got a stripe on the back.
No, that's wrong. Whatever that is wrong. You can't use him to sell.
She says that people buy the Jesus popsicles 2-to-1.
Jesus is for saving your soul, period. Yep. End of discussion. No
and
more.
For cooling your tongue down on a hot summer day.
He ain't got nothing to do with that. Well, we got to keep the lights on, like I said, and that's why we do Murphy Pro Sponsors. That's what I'm doing right now. And I tell you what, this is definitely a local sponsor because it's catered primarily to Murphy's Brilliance. Is that how you say it? Murphy's Brilliance?
Yep.
Murphy's Brilliance. A lot of times we say if you're traveling, stop in, you're going to hear a good thing about a product or a place to eat or whatever. Listen to this if you're traveling through. But this is not for travelers or people from out of state. This is for Murphy's Brilliance, because Murphy's Brilliance, I hear you. Loud and clear. I understand. You want things to stink. You want to walk outside and that smell get up in your nose. Gets in my mouth. Gets in my nose and my mouth. And just a little, just to get it, you can't really get adjusted, because I was going to say you have to give a little almost throw up to adjust to it. But that happens repeatedly throughout the day for me. But I know you love it. You love for things to stink and smell like garbage, skunk, bathroom mess. 24 hours a day, obviously. Well, I tell you what. Me and Glade got together to this is what they want. Let's put these Glade Pops away. This is not the answer to what the people want. This is, people demand a certain thing, and by God, we're going to give it to them. And also, we want to keep you, and we want to remind everybody in this town, because there were some slanderous things said about the company Glade, and myself for that matter as well, last week is simply not true. Now, I don't go to church as much as I should. I'll be the first one to admit it, but I think people should go to church, and you ought to get yourself in church, and you need to turn yourself over to Jesus. You need to give your heart to Jesus. Everybody needs to do that at some point in your life. You should, I think, personally. And I think a lot of you Murphy's Brilliants agree with me. Most of you already got Jesus in your heart, and the people that are on the fence about it will tell you what, go on and take that plunge. Get on to church, because, listen, if you want things to stink, you are never going to smell anything as bad in a lot of these local churches here at Murfreesboro, because a lot of them, in conjunction with Glade, at my suggestion, you don't need to, used to be in the day here at Murfreesboro, they say, you come in for services. I'm glad that you're here. I want to welcome you to our congregation, but you're going to have to leave that Skunksicle outside. You're going to have to leave it out there because the thing stinks, and that didn't work out so well for some of these local churches. Some people say, well, I'm going to sit out in the parking lot and eat my Skunksicle. God wants me to eat this Skunksicle. That's what God likes me to eat delicious things. That's what he wants me to have, no matter how bad it smells. Well, I understand you. We understand you. So come on into church now, because I tell you what, Glade's got something for you just as good as any Skunksicle, and I guarantee you it smells almost twice as bad. Pewsicles. Glade, in conjunction with a lot of the local Baptist churches here in Murfreesboro, there's at least a couple of Lutheran churches, I think, as well, and one Methodist. One Methodist, couple Lutheran, pretty much all the Baptist churches. Pewsicles by Glade. Get in there. Your eyes will be running while you're trying to sing with a choir, but it stinks in there. Just think about it. The preacher's, his sermons may be just a little bit shorter so he can get the hell out of there and get some fresher breath air, because I'm telling you, these churches smell bad. About as bad as they can smell. And I hear that these Pewsicles taste delicious, though. So, enjoy you. Come on in and get you a little Jesus, open up your heart, get a little good book in you, and just smell how horrible it is. Because Murfreesboro, you love things that stink. We'll tell you what, every church in Murfreesboro going to stink just as bad on the inside as it stinks on the outside all over town. So Pewsicles, Glade, get down there, save your soul, get you some Jesus, and get some stink up your damn noses, because that's what you want. That's what you get. Glade delivers. In conjunction with Baptist churches and one Methodist and a couple of Lutherans.
So you're saying that's Glade Scoball you talking about?
Glade is the name of the company. He, not one person that does it all. He may come up with ideas, but
he knows how to do them scents, them smells.
Well, yeah.
And he got together with you. Last week I was talking about how
I suggested it. I ain't getting no cut of the real here. I wouldn't sponsor myself. It's still a different. He asked me what you should do, and I said, well, hell, if everybody wants to stink, why not? And they're calling you a heathen, and they're calling you a sinner, then prove that you're not. Get to church and bring a stink in there. So it was just a suggestion. Now, I ain't asking for a cut of that money. I don't want anything. I ain't going to take money from a church first and foremost anyway.
Sure. I mean, you would if they paid you to, like, paint the church.
Well, if you did something like that, if you had to do some electrical work.
Plumbing.
Plumbing, anything like that, then yes, you should. Unless you want to throw it in with the tithing. I'm sure some people might do that.
They might.
If you ain't got the money to put in the basket, maybe you offer to do favors. You do have to eat. You do. Most of these churches look like they're doing all right to me, though. I'm just saying.
Well, that's really interesting sponsor, Jackie. It really just goes to prove how much you love Satan and
what?
His infernal darkness.
No, what the hell are you talking about?
You and Glade must be regular devil worshippers over there.
No,
like
we're not. They know
episode of Sabrina or some shit.
Exact opposite. We're trying to get people to get to the good book, trying to get the Lord in people's hearts.
Why would you make all the churches in Murfreesboro stink?
That's what people like these days.
What makes you say that? Nobody wants to go to a stink-ass church.
Ain't no Skunksicle walk around. You can't go. I got to wear a clothespin. What? A Skunksicle. You know damn well what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh, I remember Skunksicles.
How could you forget?
They were Jesus Sickles, and then Dottie Harp, my sponsor this week, wanted me to let everybody know that she's closed all the Skunksicles. She's going back to school in Colorado.
What?
She moved to Colorado to go get her degree.
What degree? What?
All the Skunksicles locations are now Mrs. Chickens.
What?
And all the churches, apparently, are overrun by skunks ready to mate because you trying to outstink Skunksicles with your blasphemous spit in the face of Jesus Christ on the cross at his most hurt. Name a moment when Jesus was more hurt than when he was on the cross. And that's when you come and attack him and make everything in his house
attack
stink?
Anything.
In the church is his house, and you come and make it stink like a skunk
All
ass?
the people wanted it to stink in there. They said they like
Who?
it stinking
The people
on
at
the
Mrs.
outside.
Chicken's trying to eat a chicken dinner, and you've got somebody opens a church door to go in and pray, and they get knocked over by the smell? That's blasphemy via nose.
Blasphemy.
That's nose blasphemy.
Last week it was blasphemy. Now that it's in churches, now it's even more blasphemy, right? Is that what you're saying? Everything's blasphemy to you.
Well, I mean, when a devil worshiper like you does it, it's blasphemy.
Mouth. Shut your damn mouth.
It's just a shame. I really thought, you're setting a...
You're a damn shame. What the hell are you talking about? Shut your mouth.
And also, no offense, but you reek.
Huh?
You smell like skunk.
Everybody smells like that. It's in the damn air. It's in the water.
Now you must have
drink.
spilled some
everywhere.
on you. It ain't like that anymore.
Nothing on me. I just said I ain't the one that, goes to church every Wednesday, Sunday, or anything like that.
It smells like you was filling up bottles to spray on a popsicle.
Well, I figured if I'm going to give a suggestion and he likes, I should at least lend a hand or two. So, yeah, I lended a hand. I helped make a few Pewsicles, and they stink. They do. That's what people like. If you think a Skunksicle stinks or a Jesus sickle stinks, don't stink nothing like a Pewsicle.
Yeah,
Worst smelling thing ever. And yeah, there may be a few.
Right.
There may be a few skunks overtaking some of these churches, or out in the getting up underneath the floorboard, that sort of thing. Yes, there are. But if you love things to stink, then it's going to stink that much more with all the skunks around. So get down to the stinkiest church you ever been to. Praise God in there. Eat you a stinky Pewsicle and smell the skunks underneath.
Man, you gotta keep with the times,
man.
Well, that's old news. Nobody likes stink. Nobody wants Jesus to stink.
Hell,
That's crazy talk.
You're the one that said it last week.
Right. I would not want to be you when I get to heaven, standing in front of St. Peter in the book of judgment. I'd rather be Martin Scorsese making Last Temptation of Christ than you.
What?
He'd have a better shot of getting in there.
Look, back in Jesus' days, they didn't have deodorant or soap or things, not like today. So more than likely, most of those men, they're fishermen. They smell like fish. They're sweating from walking all over the desert and everywhere. So if you don't like stink, then maybe you don't like a gospel.
It's good you weren't called to preach. What the preacher talk about this Sunday? Oh, he spent about an hour and a half talking about how much Jesus stunk. He said, they all did. Don't get mad at Jesus. He stunk. Maybe he stunk more because he was so holy. That's devil talk.
What is devil talk?
Devil. You got devil in you and stink on you.
Letting you know what it was like back then for people that don't know.
We're done with Skunksicles, right?
Huh?
Are we done with Skunksicles?
I hope to God we are.